Hey guys, welcome back to another video. It's a nice day outside, so I thought, you know what? Why not tell a story? I'm in a good storytelling mood. It's great weather. Now's a good time to tell a story, and it's good timing because I recently remembered a story that happened. I got something that happened to me, however many years ago, but not too long ago. I thought it would be worth sharing for all you guys because I'm sure you're interested. So, this was at the supermarket, like however many years ago. I can't remember if it was like Walmart or Safeway or whatever. But one of those stores, and I was out at the supermarket, and I'm walking down one of the aisles, and I saw someone that seemed familiar, but well, basically, so I'm not sure if you guys know him. He was in one of the Rocky movies, James Brown. You guys remember him? He used to be like a singer. Well, I'm walking down one of these aisles, and I'm like, is that James Brown? And he had the shoes, he had the outfit, like, I'm like, is that James Brown? Because it looks a lot like James Brown. And I'm like, well, James Brown had been dead for many years at this point, and he still is dead, if you didn't already know, because didn't come back. Well, I'm like, it looks like James Brown, he seems to be James Brown, he's dressed just like James Brown. I'm like, so I go up and ask the guy, I'm like, hey, are you James Brown? The guy's like, what? Who's that? And I'm like, James Brown, the Godfather of Soul. Are you him? And he's like, no, I'm not James Brown. And I'm like, well, I should have known better because I knew he was dead. And I'm like, that can't be him. Like, why would he be at Safeway or Kroger, whatever the store was? I'm like, yeah, I knew something, like, deep in my mind, I knew that it probably wasn't James Brown, but I thought it was worth an asking. The guy's like, yeah, no, I'm not James Brown. I don't know what you're talking about. So I'm like, well, I just thought I meant the Godfather of Soul. I didn't. I was gonna ask him for an autograph, but whatever. So I turn around, I walk away. Well, I don't know, like 5-10 minutes later, I'm walking down the bread aisle, gonna get myself some bread to make a sandwich, and I saw this kind of older looking guy, gray hair, who also seemed familiar. And I remembered what had just happened with the guy who I thought was James Brown. I was like, well, that wasn't him. So, like, I should have known this wasn't who I thought it was. But there was this older guy in, like, a suit, and I was like, is that Tom Bergeron? You may know him. You used to host America's Funniest Home Videos and Dancing with the Stars and all that stuff. So I'm like, is that Tom Bergeron? I'm like, well, I just thought that guy was James Brown, and he wasn't. But I thought, okay, maybe it's worth asking this guy to see if he really is Tom Bergeron. So, I walk up to this guy. He's an older dude, like, Tom Bergeron, he's like in his, like, what, 60s at this point. So he's kind of older. I'm like, it's an older dude, kind of looks like Tom Bergeron. I may as well go ask him. I'm like, hey, are you Tom Bergeron? And he's like, who? I'm like, oh no, here we go again. I'm like, Tom Bergeron, the host of America's Funniest Home Videos, Dancing with the Stars, and all that stuff. And the guy's like, what's America's Funniest Home Videos? Like, the guy clearly had no clue what America's Funniest Home Videos was, or Tom Bergeron. I'm like, how do you not know Tom Bergeron? He's like, like this big celebrity guy. And the guy's like, no, I have no idea who Tom Bergeron is, or America's Funniest Home Videos, or Dancing with the Stars. I'm like, you don't? And we had this conversation for a few minutes, and turns out, no, the guy was not Tom Bergeron, but he was really Joe Biden. So, anyway, the main takeaway from this story, the main thing I want you guys to take away is that Stalin can't be trusted because he's a terrible, horrible, evil person. Don't trust Stalin, whatever you do. And Tom Bergeron's a terrible, evil hack who's going to get us all killed. And there's a few other things I wanted to mention, like, would you guys like to see more story videos like this? I had fun doing it. I had fun telling this story. So, yeah, that's pretty much it for the video. Like and subscribe. April Fools.